Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fireside Chat, episode 8 for TDSG.
Holy cannoli.
We've done this 8 times. 8 freaking times. I know we're already over halfway through it. It's weird. Weird to think that we're here already. So
It's like we've made it this far.
I know.
And there's not much left to go.
There's not much left to go. It's crazy. It's weird to think, but like this is like the last main twist episode before we just get into the grind of it, sending people home.
And it's not just sending people home, it's where it gets very twisty.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing is our game twists are done. We go to normal standard TDSG rules.
That's true. Oh, Jesus Christ,
But-
that white. Sorry.
You saw heaven.
Ah! That was like a flashbang. Ah!
I literally almost put like what I used to do is I almost put like a Google Docs. I'm gonna see what happens when I do this. If I open Google Docs, my screen just gets super bright. How does that look? Is that better or worse?
I mean, it
doesn't
looks
matter.
more natural, but in my case, since I already have the white light from my left, it's just like, ah!
Yeah, true. Yeah, I have the ring light right here. I have a ring light right there. I have my backlight back there. You know what? I'm gonna record with this because why not? I want to, and I like being bright. But yes, this.
I don't like being too bright. I'm Freddy in the face.
Okay, that's right. If I'm too bright, I kind of fade into the background. So, not too bright.
Continue.
Yes.
Back to where we're going.
This is the Fireside Chat. Everyone, welcome to episode 8. This is the show where we recap all things totally dramatic survival games. I am your host of TDSG and of the Fireside Chat, Edwin Voorhees, and I'm joined today by Tamichi, Chef Michi.
Hello.
It is episode 8. We have been waiting on this episode for a long time.
Oh yes, we have, because it is one of the wildest episodes.
So today we are going to take you behind the scenes of episode 8 of TDSG season 1, and I think some of the things that we want to plan on covering, the placements of our campers during this episode is one. I think we're going to run through all of the performances and give you a sort of here's what you might have missed that the edit didn't show. And I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't think this will be too long of an episode.
No, I don't think so. I wasn't present. Stefani was the guest judge, and like you had your guest judges, and I was.
Yep. Yeah, your like player head was sitting on top of the slabs where we usually sit. You were there in spirit, but
return the slab.
Yes, this is luckily though the last episode that you're not there. You come back.
Yeah, because then the holidays happened, and we kind of got chaos.
Oh yeah, true. Because
I had chaos in my personal life.
True. Because after this is the last recording of 2023, and then episode 9 we start recording in 2024, and
I make my grand return because my power supply's been fixed.
Yeah.
Ah!
Woo! Let's go. So yeah, thanks for thanks for sticking with us through all of these crazy shenanigans with players leaving, Michi leaving, me and my health crises. We got through it, and from here on out,
respect the hustle.
Yeah, exactly. From here on out, we're good. We're back on top of things for the rest of the season. So, round of applause for all of us.
Woo-hoo!
But
golf claps.
Yes, golf claps. To quickly recap, the last episode was the Gungerheims. We had to say goodbye to Jacob, and there's not really much to talk about that episode. You can see the last Fireside Chat if you want to catch up to date on all of that. But yeah, this episode is definitely a lot more
There's not a lot
different.
about Jacob I'm willing to discuss. So
Yeah.
let us continue.
So this episode, we are moving into the fetch game. This is a twist episode where we have two top 2 players and 2 bottom 2 players. The top 2 will dance sync. The winner will cast a soul vote to give one of the bottom 2 campers the chop. And it's drag race all-stars fashion. One of the big things we wanted to do with TDSG was try to touch base on a lot of the mainstream reality TV shows. That's kind of why it's games, quote unquote. But yeah, this is like the last big one we wanted to touch on, and it's the fetch game, which is obviously reminiscent of the snatch game. So
sorry, I kind of bonked the mic.
Oh no, you're so good. You're so good. Yeah. So first, let's cover the reading challenge. As I die, I'm so sorry.
Don't die.
Let me drink my Diet Coke to save me.
Hey, I have Coke right here.
Let's go. See, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. Yeah, I've been eating a lot of honey roasted cashews lately, and they get something about nuts. I was about to say something about nuts getting stuck in my throat, and I'm just gonna leave that in. You know.
That's what you said. That is a thing that you said.
That is a thing that I said, and we're just gonna leave it in there. So whatever.
And we continue.
So yeah, let's talk about the reading challenge. So each person was required to bring in 2 reads. Some of them just didn't prepare, which, you know, how dare you break my rules, but also it's a mini challenge.
I mean, people have been breaking your rules since we started this, so
that's fair. That's very fair.
Sorry for the call out, but it's true.
I gotta concede to that fact. So
sorry, I snorted over.
No, you're fine. Everyone was supposed to bring in 2 reads, and then of course I provided some of my own.
Your reads were fantastic.
Thank you.
I have to cut you off because they were fantastic.
Thank you.
Some of our contestants left much to be desired, though.
Yes, some of yeah. I think what really helped was Steph being there, complimenting everyone.
Yeah,
I love just the
she was the good cop to everyone's bad cop.
So
like, oh, you're so wonderful. Yeah. You're so lovely. I love that. I loved it.
Yeah, I think for this challenge, I think Steph and Ace, they were the ones to pick the winner. I think they chose based off of who had the best read instead of who had the best reads, plural. I'm not too sure. It's been a while, but they gave it to Felix, which I do like Felix's read about Edgy's mic because it makes. I mean, you know. Yeah. It's easy for them to read each other.
Like if you know, you know, but still.
Right. So I did like that read. Another highlight for me was Pixel in the reading challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, with the if I have to hear you say slay one more time, that made me laugh.
Slay.
And
that was great.
Yeah, so some people left more to be desired. Those weren't the only 2 that did great. There were other contestants who did amazing, but those were like my 2 standouts, and Felix did come away with the win and won like a book amending. I don't know. I kind of just threw something at Felix. I was like,
something together.
Have this. So
here, have this.
Yes, but
it's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Take this, yeah. And at the end of the day, this was just kind of to have fun because in reality, we were doing the fetch game in which our campers would be impersonating, if you will, different characters, people, celebrities in a match game style game show. And, well, let's just get into it. Let's go from top to bottom in order of each person's impersonations. Starting with Nugs as Toad and Mickey Mouse.
Fucking amazing.
Amazing. Toad was great. Toad was amazing, and especially with like the Mario Kart references, and then just the throwing all those mushrooms out there. It was amazing. So Nugs did amazing.
Yeah.
He
did.
For Toad, on the Toad side of things, a lot of good like hits getting in there with the blue shells, the Mario Kart, and like when Toad was gonna leave, just dropping all those mushrooms out there. Like, here, you can keep this. So a lot of good hits, but I think the standout for me was just Mickey Mouse. Coming in hot. It's pronounced Michael Mouse. What were your favorite moments from Nugs?
Oh man, honestly, every single Mario Kart reference was absolutely fantastic. I really it's the one thing that sticks to the back of my mind. And the voice was fantastic and on brand to what we're used to hearing from Mario Party 2.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that.
For me, there were two highlights. There was the "shut the fuck up" as Mickey Mouse. That lives rent free in my head. And
of course, we can't let the mouse know that.
True.
The actual mouse.
Shh, nothing happened.
No, ¿qué pasó?
Nada.
Okay, we're good.
And then the second thing is just the singing in Japanese. That was commitment. That was commitment.
Commitment to the bit and knowing your audience.
Yep. So that was my favorite part.
Which is what a certain person didn't do in the talent show.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
Nugs,
I threw shade. I know.
Nugs robbed. Hashtag Nugs was robbed. That's the train I'm standing by, and we'll get to that at the end of why that happened. But so overall, I guess the reason we had for putting Nugs as safe was there were moments that we had to cut out where Nugs was very like bouncing off of like everyone to the point where like in the moment it seemed like too much, and I think as a producer it was easy to feel like that was too much, but then once I started to like edit it down, I was like, oh, actually this worked out really well. So it's one of those things where being there in the moment felt very different than what the edit turned out. And I feel like for what Fetch Game is supposed to be, I definitely feel like we missed the mark on how we should have been judging. So, I mean, it was first season.
It is the first season, and I'm watching this after the fact, after you've done all the edits. But, in my case, with everything I saw after the fact, I would 100% lean towards Nugs. Even when I was watching part of the stream, because I do remember being for part of the episode, I still was leaning towards Nug. Even with the voice being what it was on brand for the character that they were portraying, so I looked past that.
Right, I agree. So, next up, that moves us into Edgy as Snow Golem. Another banger.
Oh my lord!
Jessica!
It was so good. It was like amazing.
All of the cousins and all of that. I remember because what didn't make the edit was me sitting down and talking to every contestant. What I was most concerned about was we don't know a lot about the snow golems in Minecraft, so that's a lot of creative freedom, but to the same degree, I was like, this could also easily fall very flat since we don't know much. It's one of those things where it opens up a lot more opportunities, whereas if you choose a specific character, you have to run with that shtick, and having that freedom opens up for doing better or worse, and in this case, it was definitely better. Edgy, destroyed. So... I think that's it for Snow Golem. That moves us into Rachel McAdams, portrayed by Toad. This left me wanting a little bit more, to put it nicely. I think Toad had the right ideas down.
Yeah.
I think it was just execution that could have been a little bit better. Because we all know Mean Girls, Rachel McAdams is very loud out there. And I think Toad Toad did good reacting to people, like punching Mickey in that moment, but I feel like there could have been a lot more energy behind Rachel, if that makes sense. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
No, I agree.
Okay. So, yeah, we said it. We kind of just want a little bit more, like, energy behind that performance. And unfortunately, as we'll see, it does end up coming back in the end. Oops, I dropped my necklace. Ignore that. Nothing happened. I'm not going to edit that out. Screw that. And then we move into Keanu Reeves, portrayed by Pixel. This was another performance.
Another banger.
This was another performance where it was very... The humor was subtle, whereas a lot of the other performances were loud.
Yeah. There was a lot of nuance.
Right, because Pixel or Keanu is an action person. Keanu Reeves is not going to go out there and, start screaming or whatever. So trying to find that balance was very good, and I really like the Sharon Osbourne reference. Pixel definitely did their research and knew where they were going, or where Keanu needed to go.
He knew where the bit was going. He knew what he needed to do with the bit to keep people engaged and entertained.
Right. Yep. And even just the quietness of getting up out of their seat and going to try to free Jessica from the glass, it creates a situational comedy that works perfect for Keanu. And I think as an impersonation, very strong. And it's just proof that you don't need to be laugh out loud humorous to be strong in your performance.
No, exactly. And for what we wanted everybody to embody someone to their best of their ability and to their best of their knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, this was
this was a competition about impersonations, basically.
Yeah, and we wanted the laughing was one of the strong points, but also making sure you're playing the correct character is the strong point too. And
yes, aside from and also not overdoing it, not overcommitting,
right,
and not end up committing so hard that you end up delivering a flat performance because you're not too sure of yourself or confident of the choice you made.
Right, exactly. So let's move next into Felix playing the worm. Looking back, this performance was so dumb. I love Felix for it.
It was basically everything Felix did as the worm was intentional.
Yeah.
It was great.
Would you still love me if I was $500? I would have been like, yeah, I would love you even more. No offense. You can't be replaced, Felix. But
but you understand what I'm trying to say. It was a bit. He was committed, and it was a delightful mix of nuance with everything else.
Yeah, I think the thing is, I think I would have still liked to have seen a little bit more nuance, because the one thing that, and the reason why Felix is kind of safe but given a low placement, is because one of the things we talked about during my sit downs was I think it's a great idea, but I'm worried about Worm being one note. And for the most part, I feel like the performance was one note. I mean, it all came back to would you still love me and love. And it made for a great bit, which is why Felix was still safe. It was still a great performance. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more nuance, but for what we got, I was very pleased. Very happy. So yeah. And then that moves us into Gabe as Winnie the Pooh. Gabe made me laugh a lot. And
he did, but let me put it this way to you, Matthew. I watched the episode a little bit in advance, because, you know.
Yep.
And I cannot remember.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I feel bad saying it, but it was very to the point where if I can't remember anything just a few days after watching it, meanwhile I remember almost everyone else.
Yeah, I think the one joke that I think of with Gabe was she burned her throat with the coffee, but it was already hurt from my bleep. Like that made me laugh. That was funny. And whenever Gabe spoke, he was funny. He didn't really portray Winnie the Pooh though, and he was very quiet and not as reactive as some of the other players were. Like when that whole debacle was happening with Jessica, Gabe was the only player that was like just standing by watching, and that's fine, but I didn't feel I was looking for more. There was a lot left to be desired.
Yeah.
I think the character choice was strong, and I think doing that was strong. If I recall correctly, this is some behind the scenes tea. If I recall correctly, I believe this performance was crafted by Lauren, and Lauren's told Gabe to do all of this too. So you can tell that there was little effort, and Gabe is naturally funny and can do that, but for what we were looking for more.
Yeah, we were.
So, yeah. And then last up, I go so back and forth between this performance. Last is Lauren as Joe Penn Badgley. I think to just settle it and say it out loud, Lauren received a top placement here, and in the moment, for what we were feeling in the moment, I agree. Watching the edit back now, I think I would have changed Lauren out for Nugs. The reason being is because Lauren had a strong performance, and once she figured out what she needed to do with that like text chat and like how can you hear my thoughts, I was dying in the recording. Like I was. But now
you were, I heard you.
Right. Yeah, but now that we're here later, I'm like, okay, there was still something. It was a very strong performance, but like I think Nugs put in more effort into it, and
yeah.
So I don't mean any of this to say that the performance was bad. The performance was great. It was one of my favorite of the night. Still one of my top 3. But I do definitely think I would have made that switch. But Lauren was very funny. Definitely very funny tonight. So the kind of thing to like wrap up is we were judging this based off of who was providing that best balance and that best...
Sorry, my ear is itching.
Oh, you're so fine. You're so fine.
Okay. You may continue.
Yeah, we were looking for the person who was providing the best balance, and I think we thought Nugs was going too far out there, when in reality we were looking for who was going too far out there. And I don't think we as judges recognized that in the moment, like we should have.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Next season, if we do a fetch game again, we know now, but...
you know better.
Yes, we know better, but... So, let this be your official confirmation that we are going to give Nugs an honorary win right here. Update your spreadsheets as you please. You can put an asterisk or something. But yeah, just looking back, it's different being there in the moment, and
yeah.
I think we were just looking for different things, and definitely, yeah. So that would change. Maybe that would have changed the results for the week. Who knows? But I don't know. Actually, it probably would have. It's kind of crazy how that one decision. I can't say that. I won't say that. But
no, don't.
I can't spoil the rest of the season yet. Maybe I'll bring it
cannot.
up later. But yeah. So that moves us into our dance sync with Edgy and Lauren. my god, I hate the dancings. This was the best one of the season, though. This was the best one of the season. And Lauren did serve. Lauren did do great with that.
Yeah.
So
that part I'm gonna agree.
The Elytra on the beat of the last part just took it away.
Take it away!
Yep. So, with that being said, I unfortunately feel like it was the correct decision. Lauren picks the player head of the person she wants to eliminate, and we find out for the second time this season, it's Toad. I do feel like it was the correct decision based off of what we saw in this episode.
Yeah, I agree.
But what you may not have seen, based off of the edit, was who Edgy chose, and Edgy did choose Gabe. So, if Edgy did win that dancing, Gabe would have gone home there. So, it was an all-out battle, and what we
this is where the two alliances are really, really vying for each other's sides.
Right, exactly. This is where we see it's an all-out fight. So last week we saw the loss of Jacob, and this week we saw the loss of Toad. So just back and forth, and will that continue? We'll just have to find out. But overall, just to get into the judging of this episode, how we did judge was each of the three judges ranked each person, and afterwards what did we do after we ranked each person? We combined our lists, and whoever had the best averages was the top and bottom, and that's how we ended up getting those three. So it wasn't fully my decision. It was based off of a culmination of all of our threes. I don't have the list anymore, but I believe for all of us it was Lauren, I'm trying to think, Pixel, Lauren, Edgy, Nugs in the top four, and then Felix, Gabe, Toad in the bottom. I think that was all the culmination, if I recall correctly. Don't quote me on that. And then for the dance sync, it was similarly, we all shared who we thought won, and the person received the most votes won, and it was unanimous for Lauren. So yeah, that's the behind the scenes tea of episode 8. Do you have anything more you want to share or add about this moment? We see Lauren find an advantage. It totally wasn't me recreating the scene. So, yeah, we totally didn't lose that footage and have to re-record it. So, yeah, go back into the episode and read that. Yeah, that advantage will come into play. I'll give that spoiler, but I'm not going to tell you when or where. So,
nope, just stay tuned.
Just stay tuned. And yeah, so right now we're going into the final 7. Lauren has an idol, an advantage, and then something else that she already does have that I'm not going to say just yet, but I just never found the time to put it in the edit, so it'll make it. But Lauren is stacked. Lauren is stacked going into the final. As
always.
Episode. Yep.
In seasons past, she was stacked. To try and win.
Right. She basically has a final 5 ticket based off of the things she has. So you'll just have to see what happens.
Gets so good. It's gonna get so good.
It does get so good. But to find out, you're gonna have to join us back Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern time for episode 9 of the Totally Dramatic Survival Games. Any last words, Michi?
Nope.
Okay. Well, actually, I have one last question. Going into this final 7, based off of the things you had seen from the sidelines, who were you suspecting to be the final 3?
Nugs, Edgy, and Lauren.
All right. I would probably say the same. I was definitely thinking Edgy, Lauren, and
Pixel would be the only other person that I would tell you that I was like debating a lot.
Yeah, I would probably have said Edgy Pixel Lauren, but I wasn't too sure. So you'll just have to see. And thank you for joining us today in Fireside Chat. We will be back next Wednesday where we recap TDSG episode 9.
Bye.
Have a good night. I don't know what that wave was. Ooh, spooky.